Hi, everyone. Good evening. Awesome. All right. Let me just power up my slides. Right. Okay. Let's just okay, for everybody that's here, thank you all for joining us for this wonderful evening. So of course, today's agenda, it's a market commentary followed by hear it from the tournament champions, the people who actually are the top three of our trading tournament, right? Hear it from them how they trade. Yeah. So meanwhile, let's take a few minutes for more people to come in. At the same time, if you're looking at my screen right now, you're actually seeing this trading masterclass, right? So we are actually working with Binni, right, who is actually the chief trainer at TerraSeeds, and as well as a SGX Academy Trainer as well. So this will be a 2-day course, spending 4 hours in total, and it's a exclusive masterclass that we're holding for our community, right? If you have not registered, just simply scan the QR code on the screen. It just takes a couple of steps. Awesome.
Yep. And I think Binni will also run through, for those who are interested to trade DLCs, Binni will run through like a sort of 101 and also, share with you more about the DLCs during the course lah. So if you're interested to trade the DLCs, it's always good to have some guidance. So do sign up for the course also where Binni will cover that.
Awesome. Okay, let's just wait 1 more minute. All right, before I run you guys through the flow of today's webinar. Okay. Hope everybody is doing well, right?
Hey, Ethan, can do full screen, I think. Can. Oh,
sure. Let me just full screen it. Yep. Okay.
cool.
Right. If you have any questions, for our speakers, you can actually put it down in the Q&A, right? Okay. Today we have a couple of special guests, right? Okay, I think without further ado, I'll introduce our special guest first. I think first of all, we have, okay, let me go to the next slide. Okay, first of all, let me share the schedule for tonight, right? So of course, we have specially invited a special guest, Emelia Tan, from the research team at SGX to actually share with us, what is what's happening in the markets right now, right? After that, we'll move on to some of the key tournament statistics that are very interesting, right? I'll do that part. Next, we have Marcus, who is the vice president at Societe Generale, who will be sharing some of the latest updates on DLCs. After that, we'll come to the segment where we're going to announce a lot of these prize winners, who including the MBS Staycation, including the AirPods Pro winners and iWatch winners, and of course the daily top trade winners, right? After that, we will have the insights and sharing by our top 3 tournament champions. These are the people who beat 3,000 other participants to be the top, right? Last but not least, we will also have Binni to share on some of the potential drivers in the market, right? So this is going to be a power-packed webinar, right? So just stay true to the end, right? I think without further ado, I'll hand my time now to Emelia, right?
Thank you.
Right.
Before that, just wanted to make sure you guys can hear me, because I think in the comment section, Winston says no sound.
All right.
Yeah, so just double checking, maybe audience, if you guys can hear us, can one of you guys ping us on the chat just to make sure that the sound is working?
Yes, there is sound.
Good.
All right.
All right. Cool. Okay, let me share my screen.
Right.
Then we can begin.
Sure.
Okay, so today I'll talk a little bit about the Singapore stock market. some of the key happenings that has been in play, some of the topical movements in terms of the sectors and also in terms of fund flow. So just give everybody sort of recap in terms of the last third quarter that has ended, and then now we're moving into fourth quarter this year. What are some of the upcoming drivers? What can we expect going into year end? Usual standard disclaimers. I'll just flash it up here for about 2 seconds. And then we move on to the first slide. First slide, it's a wrap, just a 1-2 minute onto the overall Singapore market. Wanted to highlight a couple of points over here, which is the Singapore market remains attractive for investors on 2 fronts fundamentally. Number one, the benchmark and also the market on an average maintains one of the highest dividend yields across the Singapore market. And also the benchmark trades today at undemanding valuations. A bit of a did you know, right, is that Singapore is one of the most international exchanges, SGX specifically, with more than 40% of our companies' market cap coming from overseas, so foreign listings in this case. Just to sort of dispel a bit of the myth where people think that we are a very domestic market with a lot of the Singapore companies that are listed over here. So coming back to the point about valuation, currently SCI trades at about 15 times, and also a forward price to book of about 1.1 times. This is in fact at around historical average and is also comparatively lower to some of the global and also regional indices. So attractive valuations, what it's trading at, could be a potential driver of returns in the market over here. STI also today, I think we all know, dividend yields currently is trading at about 3.9 to 4% dividend yield. Consistently, STI has always been one of the highest dividend yielding benchmarks globally. A big part of that is because STI has a large representation, as you can see over here. Big chunk of it is by the banks, financial services. And the last point over here, just wanted to highlight is that Singapore market, we are not just a developed market play. In fact, we do have a lot of stocks that provide regional and emerging market exposure. In fact, 2 out of 3 of our SGX listed companies have at least 1/5 of their revenue coming from ASEAN. A bit of a look in terms of what has happened to the STI over the past 10 months or so. STI has returned 16% in total returns on a year-to-date basis, alongside some of the better performing markets such as Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, Indonesia, and in fact, this has also outperformed some of the regional markets. We are seeing positive momentum in the Singapore market, especially going into ending third quarter, going into fourth quarter, which I will touch on a little bit more over there. Okay, some of the key market drivers, I think wrapping up third quarter and also going into fourth quarter, would be some of these key themes that will play out. Number one, it's the reopening theme. Reopening theme, not just in the Singapore context, also in the regional context. Second thing was MAS's announcement, their monetary policy stance. I'll touch on that later on. Some of the interest rate expectations and also some of the banking stocks in this part. So number one, when we talk about the banking sector, right? Globally, banks have been one of the strongest performers year to date, similarly to the energy sector. A couple of points over here is because of the flattening of the yield curve and also increased expectations of a rate hike. And given that banks as a sector, right, is a sector that is very sensitive to rates. And what we can see over here, our banks on a year-to-date basis have outperformed significantly. DBS, OCBC, UOB on average, right, year-to-date total returns is about 23 to 28% total returns. In fact, because of that, they have also been a key driver of STI's performance. That is why the STI is one of the better performing regional indices as well. When we talk about the banks, dividend yields is something that I also wanted to highlight, right? Today, the banks are trading at about 3 to 3.7% in terms of dividend yields. Something to note, which is back then in July this year, if you all recall, which was an announcement that MAS had done, right? They have lifted the banks and finance companies' dividend cap. And because of that cap that has been lifted, if we take a look at some of the consensus and market expectations, market is expecting these banks to trade next year dividend yield of about 4 to 5%. Interestingly, we are now going into earnings season also, and the banks are going to be due to report in early November. I think DBS is reporting on 5th of November, OCBC and UOB will be reporting on the 3rd of November. So for investors that are looking forward to some of the results that will come out in early November, and also look towards the bank's outlook, because third quarter guidance is usually one of the key focus for investors and analysts, because the banks will be giving guidance into next year, 2022. And I think there are a few things like loan growth momentum, credit costs. These are some things that investors will start to also look at in terms of the bank's guidance. And for those investors that are looking to play short-term moves, I think we all know, right? Banks, we've got DLCs over there. So within the short term, next 1-2 weeks, definitely consider looking at some of the bank's DLCs where you can also trade and leverage up, gear up, right? As we speak. Another point I wanted to touch about is the GDP figures. If you guys may recall, quarter 2, quarter 3, GDP has done relatively well. In fact, expectations, it has exceeded expectations, and the ministry has also upgraded the forecast for overall Singapore GDP in 2021. Previously, it was about 4 to 6%, but now the 2021 forecast for the full year is expected to be around 6 to 7%, driven by a lot of the reopening theme being in play, and also some of the macro indicators like your Nordics PMI have also supported the growth outlook. And I think MAS has also come out to say that they expect growth to be above trend in the next few quarters. And so MAS earlier, right, in October, the monetary policy statement, quite unexpected, but they have actually tightened it. And we think that Sing dollars likely will start to retain the strength. What happened, what MAS had done was that they raised the slope of its Sing dollar nominal effective exchange rate policy band. The width is not expected to change, but they also noted that the band broadly fluctuated within the upper half of the policy band. So reflecting the, in part shifting and sentiments around Singapore's macroeconomic outlook as the pandemic continues to evolve. They also aim to achieve price stability over the medium term, while also recognizing that while we are moving out and moving towards an economic recovery, it's important to also keep inflation in check. With that, just a little bit on what has happened in terms of the fund flows in the Singapore market over the last few weeks. We have noted increased positive momentum, not just by broad investors, but specifically by institutional investors. In the last 6 weeks, we have seen consecutive net buying activities by institutional investors. Yeah, in fact, the institutional investors have continued their net buy momentum for the last 6 weeks, totaling and exceeding 740 million. And this is very much in line with some of the ASEAN fund flows that we have seen. Investors also pouring money into ASEAN markets, most of the ASEAN markets, in fact, except for Vietnam. And because of this, you can see many of these cyclical sectors, such as the banks, oil and gas, energy stocks, real estate stocks, have started to outperform. And we are seeing the cyclical sectors coming back into play. Yeah, so this is just a recap on what we have seen in terms of the fund flow into the Singapore stock market. This is an overview in terms of some of the movers of our top 100 stocks bucketed by sectors, how they have performed in the third quarter. And as you can see, we're talking about cyclical, right? Sector rotation. The cyclicals coming back into play. Some of the more defensive sectors have taken perhaps a backseat because they have been so resilient over the last 1.5 years or so. Coal and energy prices, I think you guys might have been following also, right? Oil prices has been increasing significantly. Brent this year alone has exceeded about 100% in terms of returns. I think it has exceeded the $84, $85 per barrel kind of pricing. And in fact, the energy sector is also one of the best performing sectors globally and within the Singapore market too, on the back of an energy supply crunch and ahead as winter approaches also. Yeah, we have two E&P, oil explorers and producers placed on the SGX, Rex International, and also RH, Petrogas. Both of these stocks have returned triple-digit gains. We talked about oil, right? Let's have a look at coal. Coal also, on the back of the supply crunch, has seen coal prices skyrocket since its lows in September 2020. The coal prices have increased about 120%. And just to share with you, we have 3 listed on the SGX, Indonesia-based coal explorers and producers, but only 2 of them export to China. Geoenergy exports about 66% to China. Golden Energy and Resources exports about 30% to China. Black gold, natural resources, largely supplies to domestic Indonesian market. So you can see the returns have been relatively muted versus these two that export to China. Triple-digit gains have done very well. S-REITs, something that is very close to our heart, and we always take a look at that. What's interesting in the S-REIT space is that you see in the first half of 2021, a lot of net institutional outflows in the sector. But in third quarter, it's the opposite. We see investors pouring, right, in terms of net institutional activities, net buying into this particular sector. Even though the index had remained relatively flat in the quarter because of the steepening of the yield curve, but a lot of the outperformance within this space in the sector has been within the mid-small cap REITs. In fact, there were 20 mid-small cap S-REITs that outperformed the index in third quarter also, and a lot of them have also outperformed because they were also included into the global REIT index, which is the FTSE EPRA Nareit Global Developed Index, following one of its most recent September review. What has happened over there is that there were some of the index rules that were changed, which helped to lower the threshold for some of the developed Asia REITs, which is why a lot of them entered into it. Now, as REITs, we are also entering earnings season. I think several of the REITs have started to report. We had a look across some of the REITs that have reported positive results in terms of operating metrics like your portfolio occupancy rates, your rental reversion, and also increasing DPUs that were being paid. For instance, SPH REIT, they announced the full year DPU. It was in fact up 98% higher year on year. And this is just less than 4% away from what it used to distribute pre-COVID. Yeah. Aside from that, a lot of M&A activities in this space. For example, Ascendus REIT announced their acquisition, some of the other REITs also. So a very active sector to look at. Now, something very topical, which is travel and hospitality stocks. Maybe close to heart for all of y'all, because now with all the travel lanes announced, right? Yesterday, Switzerland and Australia, another 2. I think in total, we have what? Total of 13 travel lanes. Yeah, as Singapore starts to open up, right? With all the vaccination rates, etc. After PMD's address on 9th of October, we saw on Monday that morning, a lot of the travel hospitality stocks had rebounded, right? In fact, some of them have rebounded quite strongly, like SIA was up that day about 7 to 8%, Genting Sing was up 5%, some of the hospitality REITs have also rebounded. This is the reopening theme that we are seeing, and it's not just the reopening theme in Singapore, but the reopening theme across the regional markets, because we're not the only market that's opening up, some of the other regional markets also. So that is what we're seeing moving into October, early October, and this will continue to be a theme that will play out for the rest of 4Q also, as investors continue to look forward to the reopening of the ASEAN region and continue to buy into the market. Maybe just to highlight a little bit of this SGX, right? Part of the ASEAN stocks is that listed on SGX, we have 80 ASEAN names that provide exposure. Investors can get exposure into the consumer sector, and these include names such as ThaiBev, Japfa, Wilmar, etc. So that's a snapshot in terms of some of the stock market movements that we've seen ending third quarter and going into early October. I just wanted to leave you guys with a last slide, which is investor resources. You can scan this to follow our Telegram, or you can go to sgx.com/research, or you can also visit academy.com where you can sign up for Binni's masterclass. All right, so with that, we'll wrap up this part and then we'll move on to the next segment.
For your succinct and comprehensive sharing. All right, so let's continue with our presentation. So this segment, it's all about the key tournament statistics, right? So I think probably a lot of the audience here, you probably have tried the simulation, right? So our tournament was held in 2 rounds. First was the elimination round, and from the 13th September to 1st October, right? So this was elimination round. We had garnered, 3,054 total participants, right? So as compared to last year, this is a significant increase because we also had a lot of people that were interested in joining this tournament. So of course, this tournament was brought to you by both SocGen, Societe Generale, the issuers of DLC, and of course, Investing Note, supported by our valued partner, SGX. All right. So I just want to give a special thanks and shout out to some of these partners that help us to make this tournament a success. For example, the Age Singapore, Tiger Brokers, Mumu Futu, right? Heartland Boy, NUS Investment Society. There are just so many partners that we worked with. Joey Choi, Dollars and Cents, Share Investor, SUTD Market Watch, Investment Club as well, right? So I want to give a shout out to all these clubs. Oh, of course, my alma mater, NTU Investment Club, right? So I'm not forget you guys. You guys help us to make this tournament a great success. All right, let's move on. Right, some of the key statistics, right? So I think this year we're looking at participants across both Singapore and Malaysia as well, right? Started virtual capital is the same as last year, 100,000, right? As you know, our platform actually offers the simulation engine, and how it's different from other trading competitions, right? Is that our trades are all actually transparent and open for public to view, right? So I think during the elimination round, which lasted 3 weeks, the top trader had an impressive return of 316.35% to be exact, right? During this whole elimination round, right? Then during the final round, the ultimate trader also, had a impressive 27.31% total portfolio return. So the final round was 2 weeks and the elimination round was 3 weeks. And the fun fact is, both these top traders are actually the same person, which at the end of the close to the later part of the webinar, you'll be hearing from him, right? So let me go through some of the top most traded daily leverage certificates, DLCs, that were done by participants. I think some of them are names like Meituan, right? The long DLCs, hot traded by a lot of our participants. Next was Kuaishou, right? Long DLCs once again, right? Alibaba, long again, right? HSI, long. And for Sunak, it was a short, right? So let me take you guys, just a look into what the top trader for the elimination round traded to get 316%, right? So this is his portfolio, right? It's still public for everybody to see, right? So I think these are the DLCs that is traded. These are all the transactions, right? OCBC long, DBS long, Singtel long, SGX long, right? So these are the DLCs that he's traded, and I think he also did a short on the Sense China, which is a Hong Kong listed stock, right? So I think all in all, these were the DLCs he traded, and with these trades, he actually got him to the first position with 316.4% total return. So I think congrats to this top trader his name is I will reveal it later because he's also the grand winner, right? The ultimate trader of this tournament. Okay, so if you're interested to take a look more on the latest DLC data, you can go to our website, right? It's on the right hand side of the investing note portal, right? You can see here, these are the top gainers for the top DLCs for the day itself. All right, so I'll leave it to you to actually go and find out more about the DLCs on investing mode, right? So I think with that, I pass my time now to Marcus from SocGen to actually continue on the latest updates on DLCs. Marcus, time is yours.
Okay, hi everyone. Hey, Ethan, can you hear me? We're all good? Okay, hi everyone. Hi, my name is Marcus. I am from I'm from Societe Generale, so we are the product issuer of the DLCs. So I really would like to just first of all just thank our partner Investing Note and as well as SGX for really making this tournament happen and such a huge success. This year we saw a 50% jump in terms of the number of participants versus last year. And I think maybe because, you know, COVID, everyone started to have that trader mindset, all from home trading, etc. So a lot of people were interested in a product like DLCs, which actually is a very efficient tool for one to use when they are looking at short-term trading. Okay, so for the DLCs, I hope that you guys have also found it useful. I hope that the people who are in this webinar itself are also people who have participated in the tournament. So through the tournament, the virtual tournament, we hope that it's a good chance for everyone to try out the DLCs without having to risk any hard-earned money. So for you to have a feel of the DLCs, learn how it works, and also understand the features of it before actually going out into the real market to trade the DLCs. And then that's where it gets real. You have to make sure that you have your risk management, etc., because you are using your own hard money. So we are glad that this tournament offers a platform every year, a chance every year for participants to try their hand at DLCs. Okay, so these DLCs, I hope that you guys have found it an efficient tool. It is definitely a very efficient tool for one to use to trade these underlying stocks, Singapore and Hong Kong underlying stocks in the short term, because you want to use your capital wisely. So I would say that DLCs is a short-term trading product. So in a grand scheme of things in your whole investment portfolio, I think any investor would sort of use 80% of their capital to buy their long-term buy and hold stocks, but then investors will also want to allocate 10 to 20% of their portfolio, their capital, to look in such of these tactical plays for this short-term trading opportunities. And the DLCs would be a very efficient tool because of lower capital required and also lower transaction costs for you to be able to gain that enhanced exposure with as little capital as possible. So I hope that you guys found it useful, and that there will be a class by Binni later on. She will share more where she can teach you more about the DLCs as well as trading in the Hong Kong market. But before I conclude, there's like 5 things that I wanted to share with you guys today about DLCs, so I'll keep it quick. First of all, I think when you trade the DLCs, we want to provide you with as many resources and tools as possible. And so I think it's all found on our DLC website, dlc.societegen.com. So I know when you all were doing the virtual simulation tournament, Investing Note platform was the go-to place to place all your trades, etc. In the future, there'll be 2 areas where you want to, 2 sites that you have to pull up in order to be able to trade the DLCs efficiently. One is your broker platform, because that's where you enter the buy and sell trades. But also you want to reference our DLC website, because as you can see on the screen here, we do have a lot of information available for you. Okay, I guess you will see like a lot of information on the top gainers, top losers, etc. But more importantly, you would go to, say, the search page and look for the underlying that you want to trade. For example, Alibaba stock, look at the DLCs, and then you can choose the star ones, which are the most sensitive. So if you are going long on Alibaba, you buy the DGFW, Alibaba DLCs, and over here you would have all the information that you need. The price of the DLC, the price of the underlying. You can also open up, the underlying chart itself. So we do have a very nice charting platform that we have inbuilt into the website, where you can draw all your line support resistance indicators. And then there you can also get the real-time feed of the underlying stock. Just need to click the refresh button because we can't really do real life streaming, but it is real-time. Just need to click the refresh button. Okay, so this is a very nice nifty chart for you to use with the corresponding DLCs that you can look for over here. But more important, and then you can also see the many different tools that we have on the website, the simulator. So you can simulate the compounding effect return over here using the simulator tool, the price matrix to see intraday, where the underlying stock would be, and then how that corresponds to the price of the DLC. So these are very useful tools for someone who is trading DLC. As mentioned just now, the chart, so you can look at a DLC chart as well, and the historical compounding return over here. So quite useful in that sense with all these tools, and as well as a lot of educational resources for you to learn more about the DLCs. But the most important thing about the DLC website, which I would like to highlight to everyone, is this DLC hotline number over here, 62262828. So if you have any trouble at all, any feedback or any questions that you have on the DLCs, please feel free to dial this number, and my team and I, we are on standby to help anyone with your questions. So we'll be there to answer your calls from 9 to 5 every day during the SGX trading hours. Okay, so please have a tour of our website. And also, last thing that I highlight about the website is that we have this newly launched DLCs page where you can see recently we added more underlyings. So right now we have about 200 DLCs already. It's a very wide offering for investors to choose from. But we continue to add more of these Hong Kong stocks because the Hong Kong the amount of Hong Kong stocks that's available is quite a lot. So we want to continue to add them as well. So you have the CK Asset and the China Merchant Bank that we just added to write on the recovery play, and the entire sports and leaning to write on this growth stories for this sporting companies. Okay, so please do have a look at this newly launched DLCs as well. Okay, and the second thing I wanted to also point out to people who are trading the DLCs is to, when you in the website, you can find this last intrinsic close value over here. Okay, so when you trade the DLCs, it's important to know what the intrinsic close is. So the intrinsic close is the fair value of the DLC at the end of the day. Okay, so this intrinsic close will be published by, we will publish this intrinsic close every day around 6 to 7 p.m. On our website. This is the fair value of the DLC at the end of the day. And then the next day, when you have that 5 times performance, right, is with reference to this last intrinsic close. Okay, so today's one, you can see that, Alibaba is up by 3%, so times 5 is about 15%, 14 to 15%. So you can see that over here, this is based off 15% is based off the last intrinsic close. This one's been updated for today already, so it's not correct. But before 6 p.m., it was still the previous day's intrinsic close. So kindly please refer to the intrinsic close every day. When you trade the DLC, as a reference to see where the 5 times performance is coming from. Okay, so second thing is, yes, please know what the intrinsic close is, and you can reference it on our website. The third thing is, okay, so when you are trading the DLCs and this kind of markets where, especially Hong Kong market, I know a lot of people who might have a portfolio of Hong Kong stocks, your Alibaba, Tencent, etc., NetEase, that you want to buy and hold for the long term because they believe in China's story. But then we do see that a lot of people are also want to find a hedging needs, right? They want to hedge the short-term volatility in the Hong Kong stock market right now. So we do see a lot of people using the short DLCs when they trade the underlying Hong Kong stocks. So you can see like they would use, like, say for example, the short DLCs. So you have your Alibaba short. Today is more of a long day. But if I go to say Alibaba again, I would look at the short DLC, the star one. So I will go to DHEW. So you can use the short DLCs like this to hedge your investment portfolio they're going to hold for the long term. Okay, to make some gains to offset the losses on your investment portfolio. So just one thing on the shorting. So I think a lot of people have that mindset when they go short, then they will sell the stock, right? Get that kind of thing. But just be careful, because when you're going short using the DLCs, you would have to buy the short DLC. Okay, so please don't go and short sell the Alibaba long DLC or any of the DLCs. There's no you should not be short selling any of the DLCs. If you are long on the underlying stock, you buy the long DLC, and then if you are bearish on the underlying stock, you would buy the short DLC. So in this case here, you look for over here. This is the short DLC. If it's a long DLC, it will state there over long DLC. I'll state the word long over there. So whatever it is, you're always buying. Okay, so do not go and short sell anything. We do not want to end up in SGX buying market, and then there'll be penalties involved, and SocGen can't rescue you in that sense. So please make sure you always buy the long DLC or you buy the short DLC. Okay, so that's the third thing I wanted to highlight. The fourth thing I want to highlight is the short-term trading. So for this DLCs, it is a short-term trading product. So we want to highlight that everyone that it is really a short-term trading instrument, primarily because of the compounding effect. We do not believe that generally see traders trading this intraday, or for a few days, 2 to 3 days, or even up to 2 weeks. Okay, so that I would generally classify as short-term trading. You do not want people to be holding this DLC for months at end, or or a year even, because not only will the funding cost sort of affect you, but also the compounding effect. Okay, so that is something I wanted to highlight to everyone, that this is a short-term trading instrument. So please also exercise your risk management when you trade the DLCs. So that's 4 things already. My last and final thing, sorry to keep everyone there. I know we all want to see who the winners are and how they have managed to gain that 300%. Amazing. Kudos to the winner for making that 300% on the Sense China DLC. And also, I think that, you know, some might say it's a bit of luck because you caught the China clamp down on the casino stocks, and then he managed to ride again. But when he emerged as the final winner as well, in the final round, then I would say that's skill already, because in the last 2 weeks, it has been a very volatile market, and to be able to manage to eke out 27% gain, it's really quite commendable. But sorry, I digress already, but the last point I wanted to highlight to everyone is please look out for all the updates on our website. Also, we do have the DLC promotion over here. You can see we have the Poems Philip 1 promotion ongoing until 10 December, where you can trade the DLCs and you can stand to win even more prizes. So there's a lot of prizes to be won. Do click on our banner in our webpage to find out more. And also, you know, you can look at our news page for, you know, what is the upcoming events. You have Binni's masterclass coming up, you know, where she will talk about Hong Kong market as well as the, you know, how to trade the DLCs effectively. So do sign up for her class. You can also find the registration link over here as well. And you'll find more of our regular SGX Trading Hour series that we hold together with SGX. So there are a lot of promotions and events and webinars that's ongoing for the DLCs, which you can find over here on our website. Okay, so that's a very quick tour of our website with the 5 points that I highlighted. So I just want to wish everyone good luck in your trading of the DLCs, and we hope that, you know, it would serve your needs well. Any feedback at all, please do feel free to just drop us a call on our hotline and just share with us your feedback. Okay, now next is the winners, right? I think we've come to the moment for the winners. Yes, Ethan.
Thanks, Marcus, for sharing. All right, so I will share my screen. Right, so we come to the segment where we announce the winners, right? Okay, all right. So we'll start with the top 15 daily winners within the elimination round. So how we define them is actually the biggest realized profit for any single DLCs when they close the position. All right. So, okay, let's start from the top all the way down. All right, as you can see, what the top guy for the 1st of October is a City Development Short 5X DLC, right? So his average profit for that is about 16,000, right? So we move on to another familiar name, 3FS. I think probably people in the audience will probably know him as one of the, you know, high profile bloggers and a personal friend as well of mine, right? So his profit on the Alibaba 5X short was 20,000. All right, next we move on to Alex Yo, Kuaishou short DLC, 48,000. Wow. I think the one thing to mention, right, is that I think from the data that we got, some of the average of the holding period for these DLCs were about 3 to 4 days. All right. So Sutowi next, Meituan 5X long, 25,000, right? So these daily winners, every single one of them will be getting a $60 CapitaLand voucher. All right. So U1-14. So this U1-14 is actually one of the winners for tonight, right? So he closed his position at 177,000 worth of Sunek short DLCs, right? Next we have Kanamajaran, right? So he's a Sunek short as well, about 39,000. Toffees, Geely short, right? We're at 47,000. Okay. Next, we have To Hongpo, Singtel 5X long at 8,000. Sands for Zam, right? 26,000. CSY Studio 8, Sands short 81,000. Ko Shuhua, wow. So Ko Shuhua is mentioned his name a couple of times. I'll be mentioning it again because he's actually the grand winner, right? So his Sands 5X short was at 129,000, right? For just one DLC profit, right? Next, we move on to Ko Wei Chiang, send short again, 90K. Joel Siu, right? Send short again, 38K. So let's take a look at all the people who shorted sands during this period, right? During the tournament. So I think it actually reflects the magnitude of the DLCs, right? As opposed to the underlying, right? So you get a lot of exposure and leverage returns on that, right? Last but not least, last two, Sing, right? Meituan Long, 5x, 16K. And the last one, Selataris, City Development Long, 18,000, right? If you take a look at the different DLCs, right, you can see that it's actually a mix between Singapore and HK underlines as well. You see City Dev listed in Singapore, Singtel, of course, Singapore, Sands, Meituan, Hong Kong. All right, so let's move on. So, okay, so we come to the other part where it's this 2-day, 1-night MBS staycation winner, right? So we ran this campaign, you know, for people who actually registered for the tournament, we're going to give them a 2-day, 1-night staycation. So I can't do a drum roll right now. I'm not physically there with you guys, but the anticipation is there. Let's see who the winner is. All right, congratulations to Just Being Earnest, right? You have won yourself a 2-day, 1-night staycation at MBS, right? So of course, we'll tell you how to claim your 2-day, 1-night staycation, but congrats to him, right? So I think Ernest is one of our community members as well. Okay, let's move on. Next, Airport Pro lucky winners. So we're giving 2 Airport Pros for people who register for the tournament. All right, who will they be? Congratulations to Ming Liang Ang and Irene X. All right, so these 2 people have won themselves a pair of Airport Pros each, right? So I'll contact you guys to come and claim your prizes. Thank you guys for the support. All right, let's move on. Next, we have the Apple Watch Series 7 because initially we put it as a Series 6 in our marketing materials, but we realized that it's out of stock, right? So we're giving away the Series 7, right? So this lucky winner, it's for the person who have done 3x trades based on the lucky draw. All right. The lucky winner is Bob Tim, right? So you've won yourself an Apple Series 7 iWatch. All right. So get in touch with you on how to claim the prize. All right. So the next segment, it's the insights and sharings by our tournament champions, right? So you want to probably pay attention and start to look at who they really are, the top 3 guys. All right. So in third place, right, with 17.51% total returns in the final round, congratulations to Jeremiah Lam.
Hi,
congrats, Jeremiah.
Hi,
Hi.
Thank you.
All right. So, Jeremiah, perhaps you can tell our audiences here tonight, how what's your day job, right? And how you trade it.
Okay, so I'm currently working as a UI UX designer, and I've been trading and investing in the US as well as Singapore markets for the past 3 years. Yeah.
Nice. So, can you tell us a little bit on how you actually did it?
Okay, so my main strategy going into the tournament was to focus on companies that I have high convictions in. And I think the good thing about DLCs is that it allows you to easily trade in the Hong Kong market. So I actually took advantage of that and focused on the Chinese companies like Alibaba that I think that are severely underpriced due to the recent political issues. But I believe that they still have solid fundamentals, so I chose to focus my trades on them.
Are you looking at any Singapore or Hong Kong stock in the near term other than Alibaba?
So in the near term, so for Singapore, I mainly look at dividend stocks. So in the near term, I'm focusing in retail REITs, like Fraser Centrepoint Trust, to see how they'll be affected in the short term with the rise in COVID cases, and also to see if there's any buying opportunities due to COVID fears.
I think for the audience to know, I think there's a particular Ascenda suite that has DLC as well. All right. So Jeremiah, thanks. Finally, if you have one thing to say, right, to the audiences who want to trade DLCs like you, what would you advise them?
I think I would advise them to actually start small, as it's actually like pretty high risk since it amplifies like both your returns and losses. So like I think as a starter, like it's good to like fully understand the product itself, as it's mainly used for like short-term trading, which is like very different if you are used to like long-term investing. So you might want to experiment like with it first to see like whether it fits with your portfolio or like your trading style. Yeah.
Jeremiah. So Jeremiah is walking away with $1,000 cash. All right. Thank you. All right. Up next in second place, right, with 20.51% total returns. Congratulations to Yuvan Vanaham. Hi, Yuvan. Oh, you're on mute.
Hi, Ethan.
Hi. Right. So share with us, Yuvan, what's your day job, and how do you get into the finals?
Hi, everyone. I'm Yuvan, son of Melvanam. Hope you are doing great. So basically, I was a cadet pilot in Air Airline for almost 1.5 years. And currently, I'm now doing an undergraduate program at university in Malaysia. And apart from that, I've been doing trading in Forex for almost a year. So recently, I get to know about this daily leverage certificates, this DLC from social medias and also through my friends. So this tournament gives me an opportunity to learn something new and gain some new knowledge from this tournament. So because it boosts your income through a fixed leverage. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Thanks, Yuvan, for sharing. So, if you could say one good thing about the DLC, what would you like most about it?
I like most about it boosts your income through a fixed leverage in short time. So these DLC products I prefer more on swing trading. So this usually keep my trades open for a few days before I lock in the profits. So usually I go for a long position whenever the stochastic RSI is above 30 and short the market if the RSI reaches 70 or 80. Yeah.
Swing trader. All right. So, are you currently looking at any Singapore or Hong Kong stocks in the near term?
I prefer more on the technology kind of stocks listed in Hong Kong stock exchanges, like such as Tencent, Meituan, and Alibaba. And I hope this company fundamentally strong enough and have a good growth in future.
All right. So finally, what would you, you could say one thing for the people, for the audiences who like to trade DLCs as well as you do. What would you say to them?
So in my opinion, DLC is one of the most volatile products that I ever traded from this tournament. So DLCs are suitable for short-term trades where you can find a lot of trading opportunities. So my advice is please do your own research and study and develop a trading strategy which suits your style. And also backtest your strategy using a demo account before trading a live account. That's my advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuvan, for sharing. So Yuvan is walking away with $2,000 Sing dollars cash. All right. Thanks, Yuvan. Okay, up next, we have in first place with 27.31% total returns. Congratulations to Shihua. Hi, Shihua.
Hello, hi.
Hi. So okay, right, Shihua, tell us what's your day job and how you actually got started.
Actually, I'm a student at SMU, Singapore Management University, and I'm still studying currently in my second year. I actually started trading or rather investing probably about a year ago. Yeah.
If there's one thing that you like about DLC, what would it be?
One thing I like about it is that I think it gives a very good exposure to short-term traders, especially like if you have very high conviction in the stock, it will definitely leverage your returns. And yeah, I think like thank you Societe Generale for providing this product for short-term traders.
So then let's move on. Are you looking at any Singapore or Hong Kong stocks in the near term currently?
Actually, for Singapore exchange, I'm actually looking at Riverstone. I think it's okay. Riverstone is actually a glove manufacturing company with healthcare gloves as well as clean room gloves. So I think it's a very good stock to look into, given they give quite high dividends, and also coupled with that, there is like with all the COVID cases rising, probably the healthcare gloves we need more. We will need more healthcare gloves, and also the whole semiconductor thesis of our semiconductor rush, right? So yeah, I think Riverstone is definitely a good stock to look at. And for Hong Kong exchange, I think Tencent will be a very interesting stock as well, given that I think Tencent is very oversold right now, but the fundamentals remain very stable, given that it's a social media giant, and it's really the biggest social media in China. So yeah, I think those two stocks will be a very interesting one to look at.
So if we could classify you, right, you'll probably be more of a fundamental type of investor.
Yes, that's right. I actually I joined the Snowball as a contributor, and yeah, that they taught me to look at stocks fundamentally. Yeah,
I see. So I think for the audiences who might not know who the Snowball is they're actually last year's winner as well, right? I think he's number 3 or number 2. I can't remember, right? But I think Shihua, I think your profile is more of a fundamental investor, but I think it's interesting how you could use DLCs to actually move in tandem with your fundamental analysis. I think that's the interesting part that a lot of audiences can catch, right? Thank you, Shihua. So finally, for audiences who want to trade well in DLCs like you, what's one advice you would give them?
I think one advice I would give is to really read widely. No, for me as a fundamental investor, I will definitely research a lot on the company and find out and form my own views on the company. And after that, I would then read the views like other blogs, so such as Seeking Alpha or even the Snowball. I'll read their articles and like compare them with compare their views against mine, and still see whether my conviction or thesis still hold. And from then on, I will, if I'm convicted, then I'll continue investing in the stock. So yeah, I think reading really benefits a lot.
I think he's a very strong advocate of doing your own homework, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Ethan,
thank you, Shihua.
I just want to thank Shihua. I mean, he's the grand prize winner, and it gets younger every year. To be fair,
yeah.
it gets younger every year.
Traders.
Yeah, it gets younger every year that we see new aspiring traders who make it into the top 3, and they're all more students coming about. So we are really encouraged to see that even the younger crowd is also keen to learn more about the DLCs, and not going entirely into US options or your stocks, etc., Wall Street bets. We are glad to see some rational-minded young guys who have used the DLCs for their sort of needs, and also be able to excel in it. So really, once again, congrats to Shihua. I mean, the 227.3% gain, while it might seem not a lot, but I had a look at his trades and I had a look at the market over the last 3 weeks. Definitely, it's a commendable feat given the market conditions. Congrats, Shihua. Thanks.
Thank you, Marcus, and for Societe Generale as well. Thank you.
Yeah, so Shihua walks away with $4,000 cash. All right. So thank you all the winners for doing so well in the tournament. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Right. So I think this segment, it's the potential drivers in the market with Binni Ong from TerraSeeds, and also she's a certified SGX Academy Trainer. Right, Binni, over to you.
All right, thank you. Let me just share my stuff. Okay. Marcus, when you say he's getting younger, they're not compete in the competition. Okay, let me just get started. How's everyone? I probably end the session about 8:05. I try to make it quick, all right? Okay, so just a quick one on the disclaimer, 2 seconds. All right, that's me. I just do a quick introduction. I'm a SGX Academy Trainer. You might have seen me, heard me in talking about DLCs during the trading hours of SGX training. I'm into Forex, futures, stocks, REITs, bonds, mutual funds. I basically traded everything. I started my times of trading when we have clock, and then we have this teletext. So that's why I dare not participate in the competition. All right. So most of my method is quantitative based, meaning that they are either mathematical automated system. So that's my specialties. I build trading systems. I make consultations to firms, funds on their algo development, etc. All right. So today I'll be sharing about potential drivers. So I'm just going to keep this quick. One of the reasons I want to do this is because in the morning I start off with looking at the Singapore market, the futures and the Singapore stocks, but the bulk of my momentum stocks, trade stocks, they are in the Hong Kong stocks. Okay, so I love the Hong Kong stocks. I was just looking at the new DLC listing. One of them is Anta. I bought Anta when about 2017, when it was about $22. So before I bought that, what did I do? I actually go and buy a pair of Anta shoes and I just threw that away. So it lasted me for 5 years. Whenever I show my friend that this is a pair of Anta shoes, they're not interested in my shoes. Okay, they are just amazed that how come Anta is actually at 180. From 22 to 180. So there's a lot of potentials. So therefore, I want to talk about potential drivers right now. Potentially into the end of the quarters, what we're looking at. Number one, I think all of you know, and Emelia covered that because of the rising energy costs. I think we are still into energy trading. So we have oil hitting new highs, natural gas as well. So I guess that renewable energy, anything that's with wind, solar, and there's a lot of listing in the Hong Kong market. All right. Second thing is with the potential rising rates. So we've seen that last FOMC, the Fed with the meeting, all right, with the meeting minutes, that's a lot of firm grounds that the Fed is going to go taper, all right, next year. But I think with the latest FOMC, it's more towards into potentially rising rates in the future. All right, we're going to get more into December FOMC to see what happened, but we've seen the market reacting that to the banks. Okay, that's why STI has been very strong, because STI, the main component will be the three banks. And with the rising inflation, with the dollar index, all right, DXY still going higher. So I think that the rising rates is quite sure to come. All right. So banks still very, very positive. With the progress in COVID, I think a lot of attention is into the medical technology, especially in the broad area of teleconsultations. So for example, if you look at the Hong Kong market, we have PA Good Doctor, which are into these teleconsultations. All right. Another one huge aspect I want to talk about is that in Hong Kong market, there's a lot of pharmaceutical stocks. Okay, either they're oncology or they are manufacturing a lot of breakthrough medicine. I'm personally interested in the Uzi family. That's something I'm looking at them every day. But broadly, in case you're interested in REITs, I want to bring out this term which is called medical REITs. Okay, so these are REITs that specializes in medical related. Either they are hospital based or either they are REITs for companies who are doing testing, or we are doing all these medicine. So medical REITs is something I'm looking very positive, but it's not very huge in the Asia region yet. All right, but what's more interesting, in case you are also into the Hong Kong market, is this aspect of technology. Right, it's not only about e-commerce that we are talking about. It's about the Internet of Things. It's about the digital innovation communication. So stocks like Xiaomi, and other stocks that I'm very positive of, it's actually the BYD, which I'm going to talk about it later. All right. So not only about e-commerce, not only about Baba, not only about Tencent, but in the broad area of where we are going to have smart homes, smart cities. Okay, so that's the keyword here. So which are the companies which are looking at this integration of being a smart city, smart home? Okay. Now, lastly, of course, we have a huge segment into vehicles, right? It's not only about electronic vehicles. Okay, the world is looking at autonomous vehicles, right? Things that help us to prevent accident, integrate with our environment. All right. So of course, then right now the hottest thing would be on EV, and that's if you take a look at these two components, which are potential drivers, I think is going to influence at least for this coming quarter. Then one of the stocks which I mentioned, I think that we did this together, Marcus, on the 6th of October, SGX Academy trading hours. I mentioned this very, very strongly, which was BYD. So I just took that chart out to show it to you. So on the 6th of October, I was talking about BYD. So the code is 1211. That's a very nice number, and it's listed as a DYC. DLC in the SGX market. So I recommended 2 DLC long, okay, which is BYD. So at the point of time, the one that put a star was about 8 cents. The one that I put here, the other one long, I can't remember what I said, was that 60 cents or 50 cents? But basically, we're looking at a support of 235 with a resistance of 270 here. So there's a nice $35 profit. Now, in fact, that this was presented, if you take a look at BYD, for example, as 3 main business segments. Okay, one would be automobile. If you know that it is one of the largest seller in terms of new energy vehicles, it has this handset. Now, very important, it's not only doing about assembly business, it is also into this intelligent integration, whether it is Matica, whether it is vehicles, but then it's talking about this integration into its related business. And lastly, of course, it's rechargeable batteries. So it's a little bit like Tesla, right? If you look at it. Now, that's the reason why I talk about BYD from the technical aspect during the SGX trading hours, but more important, I think that if you look at the outcome, okay, from the point I talk about around here at 240, it went up to, as of what I did on Monday when I captured the chart, was 302. So that's up about $60. Yesterday, I just closed the trade at 320. So from 240 to 320, how much is that?
Wow, Binni, well done, man. The DLC is up by 187%.
Yeah.
I just had a look. So
you just had a look. I mentioned that together.
187% for on the DLC because of this move. So it's actually more than 5 times that because of the compounding effect over the strong trend, I guess. But wow.
Yes, and I think that it's not only about me mentioning about it. So there must be a reason why I mentioned this, because along for the past record markers, we talk about it, right? Every time I review on the trades I talk about, and then they moved up like 20% from the point I talk about. Anyway, me and Marcus did this session together.
Yeah. Yeah. Too bad I cannot trade it. Yeah. Oh well.
Okay. That doesn't matter. So the question would be, how can you spot these trades on your own? I think that's more important. We can have all these outlook, right? We can have this analysis. The question is always, how can you trade that on your spot it on your own? And I emphasize a lot on systematically. And one of the things about trading DLC is really need to spot those trades that can explode. There must be certain criteria why I chose BYD during that session versus the other stocks. All right, so that's what I wanted to encourage all of you. Actually, it's not encouraged because since the course is free, right? And this is the first time I shared about AutoBox. AutoBox is something that I've designed and I never shared about it. But anyway, this is the whole system that I've designed for Societe Generale, for trading DLC, and not only design, I actually use it myself. If you take a look, right, this was exactly the reason why I talk about BYD on that day. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that if you take a look at this green line here, that's the first profit target. In fact, I got out of that DLC trade during the 275. And then my stock trades, I actually got out at about the top of the lines here at about 320. Okay, so let's take a look at the agenda for my course. Okay, so number one is that there are 2 sessions. Okay, one will be on the 2nd of November. First is to know levels, okay, support resistance levels with AutoBox. Okay, the reason why is it so is that we can look at support resistance, but not many people knows how to quantify. because my expertise is how to look at things systematically and on system design. So I'm interested in quantifying a particular support resistance level. Okay, so that's number one. And you want to trade the DLC, very important is this term called momentum, because DLC is for short-term trading, all right? So you want stocks, you want the underlying to explode. So how to make sure that during the short period that you're involved in DLC, it can explode. Of course, along the way, a lot of people are concerned about DLC because of the risks involved and not knowing it. So I want to talk about the known things about DLC and the unknown. Of course, I started this $1,000 challenge because when you look at DLC, you need to start small to feel it. So what I did is that apart from writing the course, I challenged myself with what I can do with $1,000. And then this will be part two, okay? Part two means the second session. So take a look at my trades. I know that it's a little bit small, but this is the profit P&L. So I started the BYD trade on a DLC just using $1,000 on the September 30th, okay? If you look at my opening price is 0.081. But by the end, I sold that, it's about 55%. When BYD was $273. So if you are looking at buying the shares direct, based on $1,000 that you have, then you'll be making about 11%. If you are using the DLC to buy, you'll be making about 55%. Marcus, should I participate in the competition, Ethan?
But you can't even buy the. But that one will be Kilong already. Cannot. You too professional already. You too professional already.
So
but even $1,000, you can't even buy the BYD shares.
Yeah, BYD you can. You just buy a little bit only.
No, there is a minimum lot size, right? Yeah, so cannot.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so with the $1,000, what I did was I spent $810, right? So the profit I had was about $449 minus away the commission, and that's about 55% return. Okay, so DMYC has its specific use. Okay, so I'm going to teach you in the class how to use it. All right, how to spot that momentum trades and then how to choose the specific DLC. All right, okay, then that's my course, that's my class. Anyway, it's free, so please sign up. So you can do is you can scan me. You can, Ethan, can we have the link up in the chat box? Right.
Let me get it up.
And then register so that we can talk about how to trade that. I'm going to show you more trades, specifically of how I select the DLC. That's number one. Number two is that how can we use systematic tools? Okay, all these tools are for free to enter, all right, especially into the multiple time frame. All right, that means how to reconcile the higher time frame with the lower time frame for an entry. So that's second thing. And then how to use all these automatic tools, right, to come up with your profit target. Because you have to know where you're going to exit. Because the only thing is if you can exit, then you can lock in the money. All right. And of course, then what can you do with $1,000? So I started a few trades already. They're there. So I will update you again on the 2nd of November. What happened to my $1,000? So I call this a $1,000 real money, not fake money trade. All right. So I've done with my presentation. Thanks a lot.
For sharing. So this time round, we're working with Binni to have this masterclass. It's not just 1 hour, it's actually 2 days for 4 hours. Registration link is already in the comment, in the chat, right? Alternatively, take out your phone and just do a quick scan, right? So the first session will be on the 2nd of November, which I think somewhere next week. All right. So with that, guys, let's take a group photo together. Xinhua and Yuvan, are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop sharing the screen first. Binni, can I trouble you to stop sharing the screen? Okay, guys, put your hands up. All right, let me take the photo. Thanks, guys.
Congrats, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, I think we end our session here. So thank you all the participants for making our tournament a success, and thank you the winners as well. Thank you to Marcus from SocGen and Emelia from SGX for supporting us as partners for this. And of course, thank you, Binni, for being, offering to teach our audiences how to trade DLCs better. All right, with that, I wish you all the best for your trading, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.